City Manager Dan Creighton and Corporation Counsel Greg Kalnitsky. We will now have a salute to the flag.
Please remove your caps. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Welcome everybody to our second meeting of February. It seems like springtime already out there today, right 42 degrees at one point. I thought I saw Bob Johnson sunbathing on the boardwalk. I'm not sure about that, but I'm a little sunburned myself. Before we begin, I'd like to just make mention of comportment and the way that the meeting is run. I think I'm speaking on behalf of just about everybody up here, that many people have said to me, I would come to the meetings, but they go so long, they get so tense and stressful. There's a lot of different kinds of, it gets to be too tempestuous, whatever. And, you know, sometimes that's true. It's really not supposed to be theater. I personally think that, and this is my own personal view, but I bet everybody here agrees, that good and welfare is an integral part of this meeting. It's an integral part, and even though it's not required by law, I think it's the bedrock of the democracy that we try to adhere to. And I'll tell you just a very short story. In the mid-1980s, I guess the city manager outlawed volleyball on the beach. And I was playing volleyball with my group on Ohio Avenue in 1986, and the cop came and said, "You can't play volleyball anymore, and if you do, you're going to get a summons." And I was a city cop at the time, and I knew the guy very well. And he wasn't nasty, but he said, "But you're not going to play. We're going to give you a summons." What happened was someone got hurt near a volleyball court. She wasn't playing. She got her nose broken, whatever. And the city manager said, "No more volleyball," and the police department was enforcing that. And we were all shocked, and they were going to take my poles away, which they did. And so what did we do? We came down to the city council meeting that Tuesday. There was probably 40 or 50 of us from all over town, a lot of West Enders, from all over, people playing volleyball. There weren't the leagues that there are now. It was just kind of, ad hoc volleyball. We got to the meeting, we all sat in the rows there, and the city council was up here. And luckily, Mr. Bradish, Kevin Bradish, who was the city council president at the time, came down to us and he said, "This is not an open meeting. This is, no one speaks at this meeting, but just the council meets." And we all said, "What are you talking about? We don't get to speak." He said, "No, it's just once a month in the meetings. The other meeting is just a meeting of the council." That's how they did it back then. So we said, well, our problem is is time sensitive. If we don't get it passed now, we're not going to have volleyball, until August, because this was mid-July. And he said, well, what's the problem? We explained it to him. He said, I will take care of it, and he did. And I think those days were really great days for Long Beach, and Kevin Bradish was a great city council president, city council person. So the point was, we didn't have a good and welfare for us to get up there and air our grievances, but luckily the council, good common sense prevailed. Now we have good and welfare twice a month, as it should be. So no one's looking to get rid of that. But what we have to do is we have to be a little bit more streamlined with it. We have to, as a group, not just you, but everyone, we have to be cognizant that the time is of the essence sometimes, and let's stay pertinent. The code says, during the public comment portion of the meetings, all remarks shall be confined to the item under discussion and shall be addressed to the council as a body and not to any member thereof. No person other than members of the council and the person having the floor shall be permitted to enter into any discussion, either directly or through a member of the council, without the permission of the presiding officer. No question shall be asked a council person except through the presiding officer. So based on that, here's what I'm asking. Let's stick to the subject at hand. If an agenda item is about purchasing salt or for snow removal for a particular vendor or a certain price, please keep the questions and comments accordingly. Don't use the agenda item as an opportunity to opine on whether the plow should direct snow to the left or the right of the road. That's what good and welfare is for, but it's not for the agenda items. And I think that's just common sense as well. Let's stick to the pertinent aspects, right? For everyone's sake, I'm going to try to do a better job of keeping everybody on point when it comes to comments, and I'm going to keep the council on point, and myself as well. I've already gone too far myself, right? I'm bloviating worse than anybody ever did. I'm not looking to become a tyrant or stifle relevant discussion, so let's work together and keep the meetings much more, shall we say, congenial and businesslike. It's a city council meeting, not theater, right? And that's the way it should be. I'll take a harder stance in the enforcement of decorum. Again, the code says, any persons making personal, impertinent, or slanderous remarks, or who shall become boisterous or cause a disturbance, or who shall refuse to obey an order of the presiding officer, shall be forthwith barred from further appearance before the council, unless permission to continue is granted by a majority vote of the council. Now look, let's face it, we're not kicking anybody out of here. We're not looking to kick anybody out of here. We're not even looking to stifle anybody from speaking. We want everybody to say what they feel they need to say, but they have to do it under the guidelines, with the proper decorum, being polite. That's what this is about. Once again, it's not theater, it's just city council business that we need to do. We all want Long Beach to be a better place. That's why we're up here, and that's why you guys are there. So we want Long Beach to be a better place, and let's work towards that. If we keep the decorum and the comments to a sensible degree, I think we're going to have a much better meeting, and we'll get more people to come, and maybe people will come up and speak, people we never saw before, because they're afraid that they're either going to get shouted down by the audience or by the council, whatever. So I just wanted to say that, and boy, oh boy, I already added 5 minutes to the meeting. Sorry about that, everybody, but let's have Dan's city manager report, please.
Wow, thank you, Brendan. So good evening, everyone. Thank you for coming out. Another cold night. I hope everyone had a nice Valentine's Day and a nice President's Day. I'll start out by reminding everyone of the new dates for the Snowflake Race and the Polar Bear Splash. Snowflake Race will take place on Saturday, March 7th. Registration for the race will take place in the gymnasium in the Long Beach Catholic School starting at 7 a.m. The Polar Bear Splash will take place on Sunday, March 15th. We're working with the Polar Bears to finalize the time and location and expect an announcement on that later this week. So please keep your eyes out if you want to take part in that event. The city is in the midst of developing a roadway safety action plan and will be holding a public input session on the topic next Thursday, February 26th, at the main branch of the Long Beach Public Library from 6:30 p.m. to 8 p.m. The idea is to get input from the public on areas throughout the city that pose the greatest challenges to our roadway shared users and to identify safety enhancements at those locations. These findings from the plan, which we expect to be released in the spring, will be the basis of grant applications aimed at getting those enhancements funded and enacted. So please, if you're free and have input to give, come out on the 26th to share your ideas. It is important that we document all these items so that we could get a good application out there and really fund the changes that need to be done to make these places safer in the city. On another note, applications for the next round of community development block grants funds are now being accepted by the city's Office of Community Development. I want to remind everyone that this administration reopened this funding opportunity to local nonprofits who, if successful, could be eligible for grants for anywhere between $4,000 and $10,000. So please share this opportunity with any local nonprofits you know. I think this is a good change we made to the CDBG funding, that we allow our not-for-profits to take part in that funding, and it helps the community in general. Applications are due on March 1st, and the public hearing on this year's application will take place at our next meeting on March 3rd. For more on this program, please visit longbeachny.gov/community. Before I turn the city manager report over to a presentation from our city's independent auditors for our fiscal year 2024 and 25, I want to address some incorrect comments that were made at the last city's managers meeting, the last city council meeting regarding the sanitation department. The city's sanitation department consists of 46 employees, 12 of whom are part-timers and 34 of which are full-time. The 34 full-time employees make sanitation the largest union department in the city. Just a few years ago, the number of full-time employees in sanitation was only 19, as the department relied more heavily on part-timers to accomplish their work. The increase of 15 full-time, well-paid, and union-protected employees is the result of a concentrated effort by the city and the CSEA to do right by our workforce after years of prior administration's questionable reliance on part-time workers. The 34 full-time employees are compensated based upon a graded salary plan agreed to with CSEA. It's worth noting that there have been 16 grade changes to higher positions within the department in just the last 3 years. Part-timers are paid at an hourly rate as either laborers, CDL drivers, mechanics, or secretaries. In direct contradiction to what was asserted at our last meeting, the rates for those specific positions are the same across the board, regardless of race, color, creed, or religion. These are the facts, and alleging otherwise does a disservice to the progress made in partnership with the city and the CSEA over the last few years. Part-timers have been unionized and have paid time off since 2023, as well as 2 paid holidays. As part of our current negotiations with that unit, there are discussions to potentially increase wages. Whether the assertions made at the last meeting were rooted in historical operations of the department or were just made up, I cannot say, but what I can most definitely say is that the work our sanitation department is deeply appreciated by the residents and the administration alike. We think very highly of our sanitation department. That sentiment has been expressed not just in words, but in our investments in the department, its people, and their equipment. There's always room for improvement, but there's no question this department is better off than it has been in decades. To Devin and his whole team who runs the sanitation department, we thank you very much for all your hard work and really appreciate all the work you do for the city. With that, I'm going to hand off the meeting to Ina, our comptroller, and a presentation by our independent auditors on the financial condition of the city. Thank you.
Good evening, Ina Raznik, City Controller. We have with us today Alan Walther. He is a partner with Benadia. Benadia is our independent auditors. They're basically done with their field work, and they are here to present the result of their audit. Alan?
Thank you. Just to introduce myself, Alan Walther, partner with Bonatio Group.
Just hold it a little bit closer to you.
Sorry,
Yeah, thank you.
Sorry,
No.
Is that better?
Yeah.
We've completed the audit of the city's financial statements for the year ended June 30th, 2025. The scope of the work that we do for the city, we audit the city's financial statements, which we'll talk about tonight. In conjunction with that, we perform a uniform guidance audit. That is because the city expends in excess of $750,000 of federal aid, which is in process, and also a New York State DOT audit, which ties into the federal single audit. Every audit that we perform as well, we issue a required communications letter as well, which we'll talk about. A big thank you to Ina and the rest of the Comptroller's Office for all their assistance in helping us get the audit done. An audit's a collaborative effort. We can't audit what isn't provided to us, and everyone in the city has been a big help in getting that done. Summary of the audit. We will be issuing an unmodified opinion on the city's financial statements. That is the highest level of assurance that we can give on your financial statements. That is the opinion that all the users of the financial statements, the bond rating agencies, the state controller's office, etc., will be looking for. With regard to our report under government auditing standards, no material weaknesses or significant deficiencies in internal controls were reported, and no instances of non-compliance were reported. Required communications. Just some items of note. During 2025, the city was required to adopt GASB 101. GASB is the Governmental Accounting Standards Board. That's the rule-setting body that sets the accounting rules for all local governments. The city adopted GASB 101, which pertains to compensated absences during the year. We worked with ENA to make sure that those schedules were updated. The city had always recorded compensated absences in the past. GASB 101 just kind of changed the methodology a little bit of how it's presented. Significant estimates in the financial statements were considered and deemed to be reasonable. We had no disagreements with management with regard to accounting or reporting, and no significant difficulties in performing the audit. The financial statements, the draft financial statements were sent to the city council. Within those financial statements, there's two sets of financial statements in a very high level. The citywide financial statements, which are basically all the funds of the city combined together, plus your long-term assets minus your long-term debt, using the full accrual method of accounting, which means you recognize assets regardless of when you either turn them into cash or consume them via depreciation, and you recognize liabilities regardless of when you pay them out.
We can't hear you.
Yeah, you gotta
Sorry.
just look close to your mic.
The fund level financial statements, are presented using the modified accrual basis of accounting, which is the same method of accounting you use for your budget. That takes a one-year look at the city's finances. I'm gonna have to go to hang on. I gotta go to my pages here because I can't read that without my glasses.
I know the feeling.
So the highlights of the government-wide financial statements: the city's net position increased from a deficit of $236 million to a deficit of $190 million. The net position increased by approximately $45.5 million, and that's primarily because of all of the infrastructure improvements that the city has been working on in 2025. The next slide, some of the highlights of your statement of net position. The city's current assets were approximately $109.8 million, which is predominantly comprised of cash and receivables. Non-current assets were approximately $184.3 million, which is predominantly capital assets of the city and LoSAP, which are retirement benefits. Deferred outflows for pension and other post-employment benefits totaled $85.8 million. Your current liabilities were $97.9 million, which consists of accounts payable and accruals, bond anticipation notes, and the current portion of long-term debt. Your long-term liabilities totaled approximately $452.3 million, which is comprised of other post-employment benefits, long-term bonds, pension, and compensated absences. And then finally, your deferred inflows for pension, lease, and OPEB total $20.5 million. Your fund level financial statements, again, the fund level financial statements are presented at the same level of using the same accounting basis as your budget, so an annual basis. The highlights here across all government funds, your fund balance decreased $10.3 million. The general fund balance, the general fund is the primary operating fund. That fund balance increased $2.8 million, resulting in unassigned fund balance of $16.9 million, of which $2.25 million was used to balance the 2026 budget. Your general fund revenues exceeded budget by approximately $2.6 million, and expenditures were under budget by approximately $1.4 million. And your capital projects expenditures were approximately $57.9 million. Again, very large infrastructure projects going on at present. And then the next slide, your proprietary fund, custodial fund, financial statements, your internal service fund. The city has an internal service fund, which is blended into the government-wide financial statements. The internal service fund is used for claims, obligations, and workers' comp. And then finally, your custodial fund reports collections and remittances on behalf of other governments. That's the extent of my comments, unless there's any questions from the City Council.
Good question, Mike?
So, this is always, it's a little bit of a report card on you and your team and Dan and everybody, so it's a good report card, so congratulations again.
Going to get ice cream after the meeting, right, Mike?
Of course. So this will be posted for the public to see when the audit documents are complete. That'll be posted. Also, just, as we continue to get a few positive report cards in concession here, I know these are sort of the reports that you can use when you start having conversations about bond upgrades, et cetera. So is this something that you would use to have those conversations? I know we just received the bond upgrade recently, but this is the sort of thing that you would point to?
Yes, so absolutely. When we have conversations with the bond rating agencies, they look at the results of operations for the audited years, as well as on our progress reports. So when we got an upgrade in July of 2025, the 2026 budget actually was set to use up fund balance, right? But we were able to demonstrate to the rating agencies, and that's the message that was delivered throughout the budgeting process, that while we're budgeting for the use of the fund balance will increase. So that was a foreseen circumstance. We knew that we were doing better with the revenues, and we have a very good control of the expenses. So we knew that on both sides, the revenues would increase, expenses would decrease. We will end fiscal 2025 with surplus, and we will be able to utilize that surplus in operations and not going to deplete the fund balance. So increasing taxes, property tax rate on the residents was not necessary to balance the budget. That was the balancing mechanism tool. In addition, we also anticipate that in fiscal 2026, we will do better in terms of the recurring revenue. We already know that we did much better on the beach revenue during summer 2025, and we can still continue, management continues to focus on improving recurring revenues and controlling recurring expenses. So yes, the ratings did go up. We're going to have another conversation with the rating agencies this summer, and this is a good news for the city.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Sure.
Any other questions from the council?
Just one. There was a deficit there for about $190,000, kind of like a projected deficit. How does that compare with other municipalities?
So that what's being mentioned here, that the city has a deficit net position at its government-wide, citywide level, and the reason why is because the city is required to recognize the entire estimated actuarial value of your other post-employment benefits obligation. Okay, and what that represents is the promises that the city has made to pay its retirees and its employees who are assumed to become retirees for health insurance after they retire. To put that in perspective versus the city's peers, It's a contractual benefit that's part of your CSEA, your police, all your union contracts, all cities across New York State have similar contracts and similar deficits. You will never receive a bill in the mail for $190 million. That is an estimate of the total amount that will be paid for all of your employees and your retirees each year as Ina and Dan create the city's budget. That's part of the annual budget on a pay-as-you-go basis.
Okay, thanks for the explanation. Appreciate it.
Any other questions?
I got a question. In terms of the fund balance, what do you know? Is there a percentage of increase on the fund balance? Like,
Did you? What did it go? 2.8 million on 107. So. 16. In total versus last year's,
Right.
was it 16% in there?
okay, okay, that's a decent number.
So your total fund balance is approximately 15-16% of your total budget, which is in line. GFOA puts out.
Okay.
As you know, that's like a recommended
Right.
amount. So
Good to hear.
good shape.
Okay, great. Thank you very much for the job you do, Ina. I say that all the time, and I mean it. And this is the proof. You know, the proof is in these kind of reports. So, thank you very much, and thank you for your report.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Have a good night.
Is that it, Dan? Okay, let's get on with the fun. Not the fund, but the fun.
Item number 1 is a resolution authorizing publication of a notice of public hearing for the filing of an application with the County of Nassau for the purpose of undertaking a community development program under Title I of the Housing and Community Development Act of 1974 as amended, and Title II of the National Affordable Housing Act of 1990 as amended for the inclusion in the city's Community Development Program for 2026-2027, the 52nd year. This item is for publication only. A public hearing will be held on March 3rd, 2026 at 7 p.m. Item number 2 is a resolution authorizing the approval of a list of eligible volunteer firefighters for 2025 Length of Service Award Program, also known as LOSAP service credit.
Okay, so this item, as is done every year, seeks City Council approval for the 2025 Length of Service Award Program for volunteer firefighters as certified by the Fire Commissioner, also known as the LOSAP program. As discussed at our last meeting, LOSAP is a recruitment and retention tool that has been utilized by the city since 1994. This year, 69 members of the department earned the points required to qualify for the program. We thank them for their service to our community and hope that we can get more volunteer firefighters here to serve in their capacity. Just as a note, the LOSAP criteria is set by Article 11-A of the General Municipal Law of the New York State. Commissioner Miller is here if you have any further questions on this item.
We have questions from the council.
Just a comment. So we have 69 that receive the 50 points, but well over those, many of the people receiving had well over 50 points. I just wanted to call that out. And this is just one of those things, one of those benefits. We do need more volunteers. We have a great volunteer force, but we're always looking for more volunteers. And benefits like this should, you know, we want to entice more people to go out and volunteer. So we thank our volunteer fire department, as we always do, but we're always looking for more people to step up.
Joe, could I ask you a question? What is the, how are we doing in terms of volunteer participation? In terms, you know, new members, that kind of thing?
We still have members, people applying to become members. It's not as much as it used to be. Numbers are down.
Right.
But we still do have a dozen or more that apply every year and join. It's how long they stay is the big thing.
Right. Okay. Just wondering because I'm sure we have people leaving on the other end, and to
Sure.
some degree, so we have to figure
Right,
out.
then you have people that make their points, they do their 20 years, and they're less active.
Right,
You know,
of course.
that's why in the past, we've talked
By
about
virtue of age.
increasing things. And we want to get the newer people to come in to realize that this is something that's there for them, that they'll, receive a benefit for doing their time.
Right,
So it's a positive thing.
right, great. So as Mike said, that's what we're trying to do. We'd like to get more volunteers, more people to come out and volunteer for the fire department.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
If we can increase the LoSAP more, increase the volunteers more, we'd be doing great.
Okay, thanks, Joe. Any other questions from the council? Question from the public? Yes, and Eileen, you're up first. I saw your hand first.
Thank you, Eileen Hessian. I certainly appreciate our firefighters. I just want to understand this. There were 69 firefighters who were going to get this award. I did see that many of them, as Mr. Reinhardt said, many of them got far more points than the 50. Does somebody with 99 points get the same amount of money as the man with 50 points?
Yes.
Person? Yes, the same amount. And does it last forever? In other words, what do they get? What is the amount of money that each firefighter gets for this?
The program is set up that if someone completes the 20 years, which is the maximum that we have for Long Beach, at age 65, they're entitled to their benefits, which is about $400 a month.
$400 a month per firefighter.
If you do your full 20 and get the 50 points for 20 years, yes, it would be
Okay.
$400 a month
For
you would receive.
life.
Yes, if you take that option, it would be $400 after you hit 65 up to
Okay,
going on.
thank you. And how much does this cost the city? You know, I always have money questions.
Enid, do you have that amount?
I kind of do. I
Hi,
have
good.
in Rasnik City Controller, so that is actuarially determined amount, actually looks at the demographic, how many firefighters are there, active, retired. Every year it was about $125,000. I think it is going up for this upcoming budget. It's going to be more than that, but it's, I would say, somewhere in the neighborhood of 150.
Okay, thank you.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me now? I'm sorry, it was off all this time. About 150,000.
Thank you very much, thank you.
Okay. Any other questions? That was a good question, though, Eileen. I like that question.
Dale Greenstein.
Hi,
Have
Dale.
any of you considered going down to the high school to try to get volunteers with either junior or senior kids?
Joe, do you want to touch on that? I know we do have a junior volunteer program that students are active in. I don't know how they recruit.
Yes, part of the fire department is recruitment group that does go out to the schools. Our career force goes to the grade schools. They do fire prevention and show and tell and stuff for them. Our volunteers and career both go to the high school when they do like a career day type thing. Volunteers are always going, looking for new people to join, younger guys to get in. And again, we do take juniors, 14 to 18.
Okay.
We can come in, learn everything, and then as soon as they turn 18, they're able to join right away with having all the training done. So yes,
Okay.
we do.
I'm really curious because I had a student who was in 6th grade, and he used to come down and, quote, help his dad be a volunteer. Sounded a little ridiculous to me until I saw him at a fire. So that wouldn't be allowed, is that correct?
They don't allow 6th grade, no?
6th grade, no.
Okay,
No, they have to be 14 or older.
okay. So they were just doing their thing.
I don't know what they were doing.
Any other questions from Mindy?
Mindy Dovberg, I just want to ask you, I'm not volunteering, but what is the requirements for somebody, since you have the stage and people are listening, to be a volunteer firefighter? Like, what do they need?
Everyone and anyone. You can put your application in and we'll take it. We look for people that want to be firefighters. We look for people that want to be EMTs or just to be a chauffeur and drive the ambulance, not be an EMT. We're just looking for people that help out the community anytime, anywhere.
Wonderful, thank you.
Thanks. Thank you.
You can't jump in the ocean every Sunday in the cold. You won't pass the psychological.
Any other questions from the public? Oh, I have to say, I went down with Mike to watch the training out there, and was that Bethpage?
Yes.
And that was a really remarkable. It was really great to watch. You know, the team spirit of those guys going into the fire under that. It was. I was gratified to have been there and to watch it happen. And I think it was. You know, it's a little competitive. You know, and the guys and girls work together as a team, and I think it's really excellent. So.
Right. That's hands-on facility training that we do, both paid and volunteer.
Yeah. Right.
We all go out together.
Yeah, the paid guys were there too. Yeah, right. Absolutely. All right, thank you. All right, we'll close that item.
Item number 3 is a resolution appointing a hearing officer for the City of Long Beach.
As we are aware, there was a boot and tow program that was administered under the previous administration. Although that program no longer exists, we must continue to adjudicate legacy cases from that program, and the process set up by the previous administration for doing so consisted of the appointment of a hearing officer to preside over hearings. This item appoints a local attorney as that hearing officer. We anticipate we will need service to preside over 3 to 4 hearings. Moving forward, we will likely be looking to amend the law after these cases are disposed of so that these cases can be heard in our city court, which we feel is a more appropriate venue. Our corporation counsel is here if you have any further questions to answer.
Question for the council on this?
How do other municipalities handle this kind of thing? Do they have an appointed person, or is it just being taken care of in the court?
So it depends on the municipality. I know when I was in Glen Cove, I confronted this issue in the context of a federal lawsuit. I think I drafted a very good statute that passed muster, you know, with the plaintiffs' counsel who specialized in these types of things. And that statute, instead of going through a whole process to appoint a hearing officer, it had the whole function in the city court up there. And I think that is the ideal way to do it here. You know, why are we appointing people and paying them if we have 2 elected city court judges right downstairs? So in the coming couple of weeks, I'm going to be revamping the statute, doing something very similar to what I did in Glen Cove. It offers a number of advantages, notwithstanding the paying of the hearing officer issue. But for now, these types of hearings, we're required to offer them within a certain period of time after somebody gets their car towed. And as you know, with the snowstorm, there was a bunch of tows and a bunch of people asked for these hearings. So we just need to act expediently for now to make sure that those matters are disposed with, as Dan said. And then on a go-forward basis, I think we're going to do this new tow statute. We'll present it to the council for your consideration, which will transfer the entire function to city court.
Thank you.
Any other questions from the council? Question from the public?
The hand was up in the back first.
He took your thunder, Eileen, but you could go after him. I didn't even know you were here. I thought you were in Rincon.
Not yet. But I can't wait to go. Just regular questions. We had a hearing officer. We appointed one last year. What happened to her?
The qualifications, her contract rather, was expired.
Oh,
so we
okay.
had to go through everything again and appoint another hearing officer.
When you say go through everything, I guess that's part of my question. What do you do?
Well, the statute that you enacted says you have to request the qualifications, and you have to give it to the council to appoint a hearing officer. Under normal circumstances, you wouldn't have to do that. Like if there was an employment matter, we just appoint a hearing officer and proceed. So that's why we're here. We have 3 or 4 cases that accrued during the snowstorm.
My question is, what is the procedure? Do you put it out? Do you post it?
The statute that you enacted said that we have to make a request for qualifications without defining the term. So I requested this hearing officer qualifications.
No. The question is, do you post it?
No, there's no requirement to post it in the statute.
Okay. So how did you select a particular hearing officer?
I needed a body because we only have 30 days to have this hearing, and 2 weeks already have elapsed. So we needed to get going.
So you just picked someone nobody applied or nobody knew to apply or anything like that?
He's been a hearing officer for the city in the past.
I'm not
He's
asking about his
qualified.
qualifications, I'm just asking about the procedure.
No, I just needed a body to do these 3 to 4 hearings that we're going to have.
Okay, and how many do you anticipate in a year?
I don't know. I mean, it depends. If we didn't have this big snowstorm, we wouldn't have all those people getting towed, and we wouldn't have any hearing requests.
So normally you don't have any?
I don't know. I've only been here for a month and a half. I'm not sure what the regular flow is.
That's some answer.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
That's a good answer, Greg. Thank you.
Thank you. All right. Any other, Eileen, okay.
I think he might have asked the same questions I did, but I didn't hear exactly what you said, Mr. Kalnitsky. There was a hearing officer before?
So, yeah, when the issue came up, I requested an individual in my office just to contact whatever hearing officer had already been appointed and get rid of these things. But the contract that the hearing officer had with the city was expired, which would have necessitated this whole procedure again anyway.
So the hearing officer that was here 2 weeks ago is now gone?
What 2 weeks ago?
Whoever the hearing officer was before.
Last year?
Last year,
they had
okay.
a one-year contract, and the contract expired, which necessitated us having to go through this ordeal again.
So you didn't like him?
Yeah.
And they're getting, I think, 150 per episode?
Per hearing, yeah.
And you don't know how many episodes there will be, but can you take a guess as to what it'll cost us for the year?
Well, it's hopefully only going to cost us about $600 for the 4 hearings that we have, and then as I had indicated previously, I want to amend the legislation to have that function transferred to the city court, respectfully, where I think it belongs.
Good.
Okay.
That means then we would not have a hearing officer. It would be in the courts in-house.
Correct.
I love to hear that. In-house?
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
We're trying, Ms. Hession. Thank you.
All right. Any other questions from the public? Okay, we'll close that one. Item number 4.
Item number 4 is a resolution authorizing settlement of an action brought by Michael S. Wasserman against the City of Long Beach.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to steal your thunder, Kerry. I would like to make a motion to amend item number 4 to add an additional whereas clause stating that payment for the settlement will be made in the 2027 fiscal year and sufficient budgets will be established to make funds available to pay such settlement.
Who will second?
I will.
Councilmember Johnson?
Yes.
Councilmember Ennis?
Yes.
Councilmember Reinhardt?
Yes.
President Finn?
Yes?
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, so this item authorizes settlement of a lawsuit brought against the city in May of 2021 for the sum of $50,000. The council was briefed on the details, and the city's attorneys feel will be a reasonable amount and recommend settling. Since the amount is below the amount recommended by a federal judge, we suggest that this be settled. Again, Greg is here to answer any questions, but I will remind everyone that this concerns active litigation, so specifics can only be discussed in executive session.
Any questions from the council? Any questions from the public? Eileen? You used to sit in the 4th row. Why did you get moved back? Did you not get the right ticket?
I'm confused about why we're settling with this man, because when you read the case, it looks like he's saying that it's against his First Amendment rights. But it really wasn't a case about that. It was a case about having his signs on public property. It says, "No sign shall be erected, affixed, or maintained within the perimeter of any public street or public property." He is guilty of that. It kills me to give $50,000 to that man. And for anybody who doesn't know, it's the guy on Broadway with his flags. My tax dollars are going to him. I know he sued for $25 million, so we're getting a real bargain here, but we were not saying that he was going against the First Amendment. That is not what the problem was. So why is he winning this case or getting any money from us? I don't get it.
The problem is we're not supposed to comment.
I can't comment on active litigation and tell you about the merits of the case for all the reasons that we know from the past that there's active federal litigation right now. And as I said before, or as Dan said before, there was a settlement conference had before the federal judge that was assigned to this case. This number is actually below what the federal judge wanted it to be settled at. And I can't elaborate on the reasons why I think it's a good settlement, but after reviewing everything, I think it's a good settlement. I'm recommending the council do it.
Okay, I vote against it, though, because I do not want to give that man 1 cent of my money. He is an embarrassment to our city, and he's just not a nice man. I've met him and spoken to
If it makes you
him.
feel better, Ms. Hession, I can share this, that the person, after he pays his attorneys, intends on donating the balance to, I think it's Posh Pets or an organization like that.
I like the guy.
Posh Pets.
Then. I like dogs.
You like cats.
She said cats?
Posh Pets is dogs and cats.
Cats?
Dogs and cats.
Dogs and cats, yes. I'm equal opportunity. Dogs and cats. I used to live with a cat for a while, too. Any other question? Oh, okay. You read my mind that I was going to ask for anybody else had a question.
I read a lot in that mind. Woof. Just kidding.
Oh, it's okay.
How much did this cost us? Oh, I'm sorry. How much did this cost us?
In terms of legal fees,
Yes.
I believe the number is below $10,000.
Bond and Schenk, less than 10,000 for
Yeah.
a 4-year case?
I don't know the exact number, but
You say it's around $10,000,
I said it's less than 10,000.
less than 10,000.
Yeah.
Okay, now we were in settlement talks numerous times. What happened?
I don't know what happened to your settlement talks.
If you're taking over a case, you can come in. I mean, if any of my attorneys took over a case and they said, well, I don't know what happened before, they'd be fired that day. You come in, you're taking over a case where we're sued for $25 million.
Hang on a second.
And you
Stop
don't-
for a second.
Yes.
You guys could talk about this privately instead of in public and maybe get further with this. But we can't comment on it, and that's pretty obvious. So
But
why are we going to have a big fight
Wait
when
a
we
second.
can't
If you're
comment?
settling, it's no longer being litigated. You're settling. It's settled.
It's not
not
settled
settled.
yet. It's not settled yet, Roy. That's what the vote is for.
It's not
You're-
settled.
And Roy, by the
We're
way,
gonna
you
vote on whether we
this
wanna
is
settle.
4 years of active litigation, of which you were the city council member for the entire 4 years. So you should be well aware of everything that's happened
No,
to
you
date,
see,
except
you
for
see,
everything
it's
since...
the same thing here. I don't get, and we did not get updates on the litigation. That's why I asked Mr. Kalinsky for updates on the litigation, and I was told you have to foil. Do you guys have updates on the litigation? Do you know what litigation we're involved in, President Finn? Do you?
I advise the council on
I'm speaking
everything
to
that I
President
I'm
Finn.
going to resort to what I would say. I'll ask the questions, Roy.
You?
I'll ask the questions. We are talking about this item right now,
Yes.
and that's all we have to talk about. That's how we began this meeting. Let's stick to the agenda
I
item.
was trying
We're
to-
not going to go afield
I
of
was
what we
trying
know
to,
and when
and
did you know
Dan came
it.
right
This is-
in and started
Roy,
blaming the prior administration.
Roy, why are we
Ben,
getting into
listen
this?
to
We can't comment on it, and you know it. You say you're an attorney. Okay, attorneys know that you can't comment, right?
No, you can comment once it's done. You already have a settlement.
It's not done, Roy. We have not, you know well that you cannot do anything until the city council votes on it. It is not a done deal until the city council votes on it. You know that. You know that, Roy.
Okay, so what is anybody asking that's privileged? What is anybody asking that goes into the settlement?
What do you want to know?
Yeah, what do you,
What
Well,
do you want to
Trying
know?
to show us what a great lawyer you are?
Okay,
Seriously,
good.
Roy, what's your point?
Well, what I started asking about how much it's costing us. That was the thing, and I was
He
told...
he answered the question as best he
Okay.
could.
And then I asked, why did the settlements not work? We went on for years.
I know, you asked
after
that.
the settlements.
Let's move on.
Well, I'm not getting an answer, so yeah, I'll move on.
Okay.
But Brendan, I wanted to keep it to the point, and Dan started with the prior administration. Well, you should know everything.
I didn't say the prior administration, I said you.
Hold on.
Okay?
Hold on.
So I'm trying to keep it to the point.
Roy, you know as well as anybody that this started with a prior
I
administration.
know that.
So
I
why?
know. So why is Dan bringing it up? Well, you should know.
Because it's a fact. But it's.
So what does that have to do with my
Why are we
questions?
arguing this? We're going to vote on
Because
it.
you start on that. You start, well, I'm going off track. No, then I don't need those comments. I know it's been going on for 4 years. I know that.
Right.
You know what? So the comments are unnecessary, and that's exactly what you were talking
The
about.
comments are unnecessary because if you settled 4 years ago, we wouldn't even be doing it right now, would we?
We wouldn't have settled. Thank you.
Okay. Okay. That's all right.
James Hodge, 95 East Fulton Street.
Good evening.
Here in this Black History Month. 28 days ain't enough to tell a story, so Black history is American history and it's everyday history. This is about a settlement. You have someone that come up that's paying taxes. It's a former council member. He can ask any question he wants. Who are you to tell him he can't ask a question, President? The attorney spoke to him, the city manager spoke to him. You talked about decorum, and yet you tried to belittle him. The way you talk, he can ask whatever he wants, and any taxpayer or resident can come up here, and whatever the law is, they can ask questions, and they don't have to be bombarded by all of you. He can ask the question. If you don't want to answer it, you don't have to answer it. But to sit and talk to him, it's not that I don't have to agree with anyone here. I don't care what party you're in. I am a community advocate. I advocate on behalf of people. And the way you sometimes treat him, just because you know him for 30 years, you remember what you said in the middle of the meeting. Decorum, not a show and all of that stuff. He came and asked the questions. Well, how much did we spend? And maybe his attorney prior should have been giving him all the detail. If he's giving you the details, that's great. Maybe he should have got it from that prior corporation counsel. But he's here asking the question.
He said that
George,
should be fired.
George.
Well,
we will follow
listen,
the rules.
Well, I don't listen, but that's another thing. George is a duly elected council member. Let him speak to me. I know it's supposed to be directed to the
Good, so if you
president.
know that, then why are you saying that?
But he's a duly elected council member. You do not dictate. If he's duly elected, you can allow people to speak. He can ask you, yes, but then he can speak. Just because you know them, just because they ran on your team, you don't dictate to them. He can speak.
I spoke out of turn.
No, I understand. You're supposed to speak to him, and y'all speak about it tonight at one of the places over there on Park Avenue. Son. But the fact of the matter is, yeah, everything goes through you, but he spoke, and you're just shutting people up. You know, that's not right. That's not democracy. This is what we're fighting about now. Just like you settling this $50,000 lawsuit for a guy that has despicable signs. I don't like the signs, but hey, it's a conversation about a settlement. He's entitled, and anybody is entitled. You don't like what I'm saying now, but you got to take it because it's part of democracy. You like that, right? You was an officer. You enforced the law, and now you're enforcing the law as the president of this city council. I'm proud of you. Not that I agree with everything you do, but you're the president.
Most of what I do.
And so, again, I stood up only to say that he's asking a question. How much did we spend? I may have been mad at the last, sometimes when they didn't get information from people that worked for them. So maybe they should have got it, but he's entitled to ask a question. Thank you.
Okay. I see you. Sheila, right? Oh, I'm sorry. Wow, how did I get that wrong? Sorry.
Kathleen O'Leary, Long Beach.
Oh, sorry.
I wasn't planning on talking tonight, but I deeply resent this guy flying those flags. And he not only took up one parking space with them, he took up 3 city parking spaces with them for 4 years. That's not right. You know, we have a rule on the books that you're not supposed to do that, and I don't know how we got to this. I mean, I had a big argument on whether or not he had the right to do it, and I was told that it was freedom of speech. I lost that argument, but I resent paying him $60,000, even if it's going to animals. You know, between the legal fees and the settlement, you know, I just think it's a stain on Long Beach. People out of Long Beach talk about it. And I object to him saying the F word on the signs. That's not freedom of speech. I mean, I don't know if that's freedom of speech or not, but you know, you have kids in the neighborhood. You have buses of school kids from the Catholic schools going through there. That's wrong. So I would just like to express, you know, 2 things. I resent the fact it happened. I resent his stupid dummies on his balcony in the front. And I resent the fact that the city's spending $60,000 for this jerk.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions from the public? Yes, please.
Hi, I'm Maria Gallagher, 826 East Park. I also wasn't planning on speaking. I just want to say you led with a federal judge recommended, right? So none of us like lawsuits, none of us like to have to settle, but I think as a city, we have to respect that sometimes we have to do things that we don't agree with, but this man can take us to court and we can end up having to pay out a lot more money. So I think at some point we do have to trust our city council. Another thing is the way that we are conducting ourselves during this meeting. I think it's important that everybody comes up and asks the questions that they have and makes comments on things that concern them. That's why we have a city council. But we have to be able to conduct ourselves in a manner where if the city council is answering a question and is saying that they can't make a comment on something, we have to be able to move on, and we can carry out those conversations outside of this room so we can move on and make this an environment where people feel comfortable to come to the meetings, to stay watching online, to not log off because they just see a bunch of people fighting. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. Any other comments or questions from the public? One thing I will add to this, though, is that New York State law, nor does the charter mandate that the public speak on the resolutions at the council meetings. That's the way we do it, but it's not the law. Okay, anybody can say whatever they want, whenever they want, but when we're in a meeting like this, we could follow the law and say there is no comment on resolutions. Public hearings, yes. Resolutions, no. But of course, we want them. But within that context, once we start getting into these debates and arguments, what's the point, especially in this situation? So it's not this mandated right. It's in New York State law. It's not in there. We have no more comments from the public, so we can close it.
Item number 5 is a resolution authorizing the city manager to enter into a professional service agreement with the lowest responsible proposer to replace ice rink electrical switchgear.
Okay, so the switchgear at the ice arena is failing and beyond its useful life and needs to be replaced. This is the centralized component of the building's power system that controls and protects all of the other electrical equipment. It fails multiple times each month, which is untenable, especially in a facility like the ice arena. This is a state of good repair item which has been neglected over various administrations. The city received 9 responses to this RFP for engineering design to replace the switchgear. Lizardos Engineering was determined to be the best value of the respondents at $43,600. We have Steve Friedman here from DPW, if you have any further questions on this item.
Okay, do we have questions from the, or comments from the council? Okay, Mike?
Well, Steve, if you could just tell us a little bit about what this, the person who won the bid, the firm that won the bid, exactly what they'll be doing?
Sure. Steve Friedman, Deputy Commissioner, Department of Public Works. So the switchgear...
You got to get right to the mic. You got to get yelled at, not by me, but you'll see.
So the switchgear is, as Dan said, is the main point from the transformer to the street. When the switchgear fails, the entire electrical system for the ice arena shuts down. It has failed multiple times and is beyond its useful repair. As a matter of fact, the equipment is actually, manufacturer's not in business anymore, so we need to replace it. And as I'm going to go to replace it, I'm going to look to elevate it as well in case we have any other storm interest coming, since the bay is not too far from the arena, so we're going to look to elevate it up onto a structural platform.
Yeah.
So the design engineer is in 2 components. One is the electrical engineering, and the second part is the structural engineering, which would be a stairwell up to a mezzanine level inside the switchgear room.
Okay. So you would classify this equipment, much like the original paint job, as vintage?
It's vintage. It's probably original to the building. It's been there for quite a long time.
Okay. Thank you.
I played hockey there then. Afraid to say the year. Any other questions from the council? Okay, questions from the public? You guys got up at the exact same time the last time.
That's enough.
I thought it was a pattern, a play pattern.
Deep breath.
Button hook. You know.
You too. Deep breath. When was this replaced last?
That's the question.
Steve, this is probably original to the building, right?
I believe so. I don't think it's ever been replaced.
So, year-wise?
I'm sorry?
Year-wise?
I would think, I
It's a
believe this
50s.
arena was
That'd
put
be
in...
74, right?
1974.
Is it that new? I thought it was a little...
That new?
No, the building. I thought it was...
I think it was built in 73. Finished.
Okay.
It stood there for years, if you remember.
Yeah.
It was an empty building for probably four years before it finally got built. It really, it was terrible.
And the other thing that I'm just not sure about is, it says that Lizardo's received the highest score, no question about that, and was the lowest responsible proposer. Why was MT not responsible? Found not responsible? MT.
MTech.
MTech, I'm sorry. I can't read my own
Yeah,
writing.
it's okay. So we look at a number of different opportunities when we go to review these proposals. First, I always look at, when we say responsible bidder, Lizardo's came to the site, they looked at it, they looked at the conditions. MTech did not show up at all.
So that makes them not responsible?
Well, I can go into it further. So MTech is, for the structural platform, they're using an architect. We don't use architects for structural design, we use structural engineers. Lizardos is using a structural engineer for their project. So also, MTech came up with a temporary solution, because they hadn't come to look at it, to add temporary generators to the project. We don't need them. That would have cost us probably another $50,000 to $80,000 of construction that we didn't need. So Lizardos came out, they looked at the project, they came up with a couple of solutions that's going to save us quite a bit of money during construction. So to me, they were the most responsible bidder.
One thing I wasn't sure about, you said that there's also going to be an upstairs part that's going to be done? Is
Well, that's
that
what-
part of this?
Yes,
Or-
that's what the
okay.
structural platform is for. The switchgear right now is on grade level.
Right.
We're going to elevate it to a structural platform. Just in case we ever to get water, the switchgear would stay above the water line and we'd keep the ice arena active.
Now,
That was
in the RFP, is it requested that people come out? Or?
Yes, absolutely. Every one of my RFPs requests that someone come out to look at the job, because if you don't come and look at it and we miss something, the
So
couple of dollars that we're going to save, we're going to
That
have to
in
spend it.
itself could be considered non-responsible, correct?
I wouldn't say it's non-responsible, but the solution that MTech provided was not the right solution because they didn't come and look at the job.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Any other questions from the public? Thank you, Steve. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Steve.
All right, we'll close that one and go to number 6, please.
Item 6 is a resolution authorizing the city manager to enter into an agreement for a sponsorship program for beach umbrellas.
So every year, the city needs to replace a number of umbrellas used by our beach park employees. To help defray the cost of the umbrellas, the city sought out a sponsorship, and Ms. Leah Tozer of Daniel Gale Sotheby's International Realty stepped up. This item authorizes the city to enter into a sponsorship agreement with Ms. Tozer and amends the budget to allow Beach Park to make the purchase. This is pretty straightforward, but I have Phil Ragone here to speak on the topic if there are any other questions. I would like to thank Leah Tozer for her generous sponsorship.
Question from the council?
I just want to say about sponsorships, I think they're great, and we're always open for additional sponsorships from local businesses, residents, or anything like that. So if you know anybody that would be interested in that, we're always available.
Yeah, can't wait.
Yeah, and just to add on, Brendan, these are the umbrellas that go on the booths to protect our people accepting the beach tickets and the beach passes and making money for the city. So thank you to Ms. Tozer for the generous donation.
Okay, questions from the comments from the public? You're next, Mr. Spielberg.
I always appreciate when people make donations. But my question is...
I knew there was a but.
Yeah, there usually is. A donation counts as a donation when someone isn't publicizing their own name or business. So my question is, on these umbrellas, will there be a name such as the person who was donating, or is the place, where she works for, is that going to be on the umbrella?
I was hoping they were going to put my name on the umbrellas, but what's the answer?
So Phil, do you want to, by the way, this is a sponsorship agreement, it's not a donation.
Oh, it's a
Yeah,
sponsorship.
so there's very generous sponsorship by Ms. Tozer, and it was acquired by Stacy Sweet. It's a sponsorship. So sponsorship, the name does go on the umbrella with the city logo. It's not a donation, it's a sponsorship.
And that's acceptable to you?
As a sponsorship, yes.
We're going to find out, right?
I have a problem with that. I have a problem with that because that is publicizing one name, and I don't know this lady. I'm sure she's lovely. It's not an attack on her. But allowing that to happen,
We have sponsorships
aren't you
all over
going
the
to
place.
make
We have sponsorships all over the place with
their names?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, that's a huge problem.
I don't have a problem with it if it helps the city. If it's helpful for the city, what's the problem?
Okay, then I have a request. Let's ask for a sponsorship to get the bocce ball court built and paid for. And how about $1 million for that?
If you could,
Wow, how much?
$1 million. Let's make it good.
Are you offering?
No, I don't have that kind of money.
Okay, all right.
I wish I did.
Thank you.
Because the people that are interested in bocce ball, they had their court taken down when they were fixing things, and nothing has come since.
All right, but that's not the topic here.
It kind of is.
It's not.
Did you put the sponsorship out there? Ask for it?
That's not the topic. We started the meeting with this. This is not the topic. We're talking about this sponsorship.
We're talking about sponsorships.
No, we're talking about this sponsorship.
So we're going to have 20 umbrellas with this person's name on it all over our beaches or stands where people pay to get onto the beach. That's how it goes?
Actually, where they pay to get on the beach. Where they pay, that's where it's
what
gonna
I
be.
said.
Yeah.
Oh, wait a minute. Only where they pay or for the lifeguards too?
Maybe, I don't think there's enough for the lifeguards, no.
So these umbrellas will go, ma'am, they'll go for all our ticket takers, our cashiers, our seniors who are supervisors to protect them from the elements. It's really necessary. It will have our.
I understand it being necessary.
It'll have our city logo on it, and it'll have the sponsorship logo, which is what a sponsorship is.
Thank you. Mr. Spielberg?
Hello. Jacob Spielberg. Just a little more clarity. Is the city purchasing these umbrellas and then selling the sponsorship?
We get a sponsorship to purchase the umbrellas. We purchase the umbrellas with this money. That's why part of this resolution is to move money around so we could buy the umbrellas.
And so it simply covers the cost of the umbrellas, or the city does in fact profit?
I think the sponsorship goes above and beyond what it costs for the umbrellas. Phil, you got the details, right?
Yes. So the umbrellas are $4,900 with the setup fee and the freight. It's almost $6,000. So it's underneath what the actual amount is, but it'll be a great help in getting the umbrellas.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right, thanks.
Thanks, Bill.
Sorry, Eileen, you got, once again, circumvented by... Come on up, come on.
Phil, I didn't hear. How much are the umbrellas each?
The umbrellas are $295 each. Then there's a setup fee and freight. So the $4,900 for the umbrellas. The total cost is approximately correct. It's actually well worth it, Roy. Over the years, and I've been doing this a lot of years, we've gotten Ace umbrellas cheaper. We've gotten Home Depot. They last about a third of the season and they go. These umbrellas are commercial umbrellas. They have wood base. They have acrylic umbrellas. They last for years. So the coverage they give to our kids.
I'm not.
No, I'm saying is the cost. You mentioned the cost.
Yeah.
So the cost is really well worth it because of the length that we can keep them. They last for years, and the coverage they give to the seniors, the kids that are all working on the beach, really are unparalleled. They're well worth it.
No, I work at Jones Beach. We have umbrellas that are over 50 years old, so I understand. But they do have to be repaired. Okay, they're canvas.
I can't believe they're not yelling at you for not speaking into the microphone. I can hear you, though. It's okay.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, I can hear you.
Okay. So we buy the umbrellas. You see, what I can't understand is the difference. On one hand, we say make agreements with individuals who wish to donate labor, goods, or services. But you say this is not a donation. This is a sponsorship.
Mm-hmm.
But
Yes.
it sounds to me that they're donating the umbrellas and they're putting their names on it. Because when they talk about sponsors, they talk about events.
Well, it
When they
says
sponsor-
and/or sponsor events, so...
And/or, yeah, but this is not an event.
Well, it's the event that they're giving us the umbrellas.
Come on, Finn. It's not
Come
an
on
event.
now.
They're giving you goods.
If we're going to play semantics, we're going to play it all the way out. What's the problem here?
I'm just wondering, because aren't donations tax deductible?
Are they tax deductible?
Yeah.
Sponsorships?
No, donations.
I'm not a tax lawyer.
Yeah, they are. But sponsorships would be deductible too, because it's cost of doing
Okay,
business.
so
Roy, just to
what,
go.
you want us to turn it down and say,
No,
you're trying to
I'm
get us to
not
vote
saying
against
that. I'm
it?
just asking if it's a donation. It's a question. Do
you mind if I say something?
Okay?
Go ahead.
If it's a question, or if it's
So
a
what-
donation, or if it's a sponsor.
Roy, you're reading the whereas clause, and it says
Yes.
goods and/or services to the city
Yes.
and/or sponsor events, not just for sponsor events. Donated to the city. It's donated to the city
Or sponsor events.
or sponsor events. So
Yes.
it doesn't have to be used for sponsor events.
Well, that's the way it was worded. Sponsor
No, it's
events.
not. It says and/or sponsor events.
Here's my question.
But is your point to get us to vote against it?
No.
Okay.
I'm asking a question.
Okay, go ahead.
I'm allowed to ask a question. Come on, we've gone through this.
Actually, yes.
Yes, I am. Okay. Why does the council have to vote on this?
Why do we have to?
Why does the council have to vote on this?
Because this is going to be the movement of funds.
So you're voting on moving funds, you're not voting on this agreement? That's not the way it's worded about moving funds. Well, it is, I guess. But it's authorized, you're asking for authorization to make the agreement. Now, was the money already transferred? The $5,000?
We can't move the money until after
You what?
we can't move the money until after the resolution's voted on. It's part of the resolution.
So, but was the money paid to the city? That's what I'm asking.
Yes, she has given her money, but there has not been a movement of the money yet into the account so we could buy the.
Yeah, no, I understand you can't move the money until you have the resolution. I was asking if the money was already there, or was it waiting until this was passed?
No, the money has been received.
Okay, because it just bothers me when an agreement is entered into prior to any voting of it. But you're saying that you're not voting on the agreement, even though it says you're voting on the agreement, you're actually voting on moving the money, which I understand.
I think you asked why it was being.
He said he understands.
Okay.
Okay?
Thanks.
Eileen Hessian. A year ago, 2 years ago, we talked about putting signs up for different stores in Long Beach on the lifeguard stands.
I don't recall that.
Does anyone else recall it?
No, I didn't miss a meeting.
Does anybody recall that? Okay. So you might not have been
So they're
here.
calling me a liar, but...
No, they're not calling you a
Okay.
liar. You weren't here. You didn't hear it. But
Oh,
I will
was
tell
here.
you what
I
happened.
didn't miss a meeting.
What?
I did not miss a meeting.
It might have been 2 years ago. Anyway,
Okay,
let me
good.
just say what happened.
Okay.
It was brought up, signs on the lifeguard chairs, stores in town would advertise, people on the beach would learn about restaurants and so forth, and we would make some money on that. And the vote was no, because we don't want to turn our town into a tacky place that has ads everywhere. And I think that is what might happen, because now we have an umbrella on every beach that has the name of a real estate company and a person on
What
it.
were the taxes that year? Do you remember the property tax?
Of course I don't remember.
I remember it. They were high.
You don't
So
remember
maybe
because
we
you
would've
don't
been better
remember
off
the
getting
year.
those signs, right?
You don't remember the year. My question is, well, you can't answer this question because you didn't know that this happened, but I
No, I
was
didn't.
wondering why we changed our mind on doing this.
We didn't change our minds.
Well, you didn't change your mind, but
Right.
the city changed its collective mind on allowing ads to be put up on the beach. It was also brought up to bring...
Hold on a second. Hold on. We didn't change our minds about anything. We are voting whether to accept the sponsorship of umbrellas to make the kids and the older people, people my age or younger actually, be more comfortable on the beach
I don't
when they collect
disagree.
money for the city. No, I'm almost finished. So I think it's pretty cut and dried, straightforward. Someone wants to donate money to buy umbrellas to keep people safe and healthy. I want to accept it if we get to vote on it. I don't see what the problem is.
You just said donate money, and I agree. She should donate the money. If a donation would not have an ad. She's actually paying for ad space. What I fear is there are going to be signs all over the boardwalk now and all over the beach, and I just don't like that.
there are
And
no
that's why it was voted down before you were in office. That's all.
And I asked you what your property taxes were when they voted it down.
I don't even know.
Well, they were very high. Let me put it that way.
Well, how do you
So
know?
maybe we're better off taking some money, right?
All
Getting a
right, so
donation.
that's the answer then. You want to
Okay.
make the money.
Yes, I want the people to be in the shade and
I'd like them to be in
Yeah.
the shade too, but I'd
Okay.
like it as a donation rather than a
it
sponsorship.
is a donation.
I would
You said
just,
it wasn't a donation.
I would just note that we've been getting umbrellas sponsored for at least the last 4 years, and we've not received a single complaint.
Whose names are on them?
It's been different real estate agents.
Where are those umbrellas?
They've been, I think, almost the entire stock on the beach is those umbrellas.
Thank you very much.
Okay, thanks. Any other question? Yes, Mindy?
I just want to say, I of course think this is a fabulous idea, and you guys can laugh, just laugh. But what I want to say is, are these umbrellas different than the ones that we used before? Are they different, thicker, lighter?
Yeah, so these umbrellas are commercial umbrellas. They're wood-based. They have acrylic commercial umbrella material. They last. I said earlier, I think, that we try to get the cheaper ones, Home Depot. They last a month and they're
So
done.
are these not
give
going to have the hole that's on
No,
the
they'll fit
umbrella?
right into. We already have it in it. They
Oh.
fit into the holes that we have, and they just give greater coverage, and they give real protection for all our beach employees during the summer.
Thank you.
And they're going to outlast those Jones Beach umbrellas, too, I'm sure.
I believe so,
We're
Mr.
Long
President.
Beach. Yes. Maria? Thank you, Mindy.
Close out our umbrella discussion. I just want to add that I am a real estate agent in town, and I will not be offended by the advertisement on the umbrellas. I personally know a lot of the kids that worked on the beach and how much they suffered when the umbrellas went down, how hard it was to bring in more umbrellas. And if Leah Tozer is being generous enough to sponsor an umbrella, I think that it's wonderful. And you know what? Maybe she'll step up and sponsor your bocce ball because she's a very generous person. Sponsorships, as long as there is nothing vulgar or inappropriate, we talked about vulgar and inappropriate signs that offend us in this town. I don't think people are going to step on the beach and say, we all have to call this person or we all have to do this. Like, it's not that deep. It's just an umbrella to protect our kids, and anybody in our town is welcome to step forward and do any sponsorships themselves, and I'm sure the council will welcome it. Thank you.
Thank you. Maybe this will spur an umbrella war between people who want to sponsor umbrellas all over, and we'll have umbrellas everywhere. For the sanitation guys, too. Yes. All right. Any other comments from the public? Thank you. We'll close that one.
Item number 7 is a resolution authorizing the city manager to enter into an agreement for a sponsorship program for a beach accessibility map.
It's like Susquehanna Hat Company.
I'm dreading this one. This is similar to the previous item. The city secured a sponsorship, unfortunately, it sounds like, with East End Volleyball for the purchase of a beach accessibility mat. The sponsorship will cover the cost of the purchase and maintenance of the mat. Believe Ken Arnold is here to answer any questions you may have. Again, I would like to thank East End Volleyball for the very generous sponsorship. Thank you very much. I think this is something that people have been asking for in the past, and I think it's a good thing.
Yeah.
All right, start again. Mike, what do you got to say?
I'd like to thank East End for their sponsorship. I had a conversation with Rich and his daughters a few months ago, and they're always looking to give back to Long Beach. They have a very successful business, brings a lot of people to town. Volleyball, as everybody knows, is a very big sport here in Long Beach. And he had mentioned this, and I thought it was a great idea because it's really twofold. It's a great idea for him to give back to the city and have a sponsorship, but it's also, it helps us because we want to increase the Moby mats in town as we did last summer. So any chance we have to increase the number of Moby mats on different beaches that do not have them, of course, we're going to jump at it. So thank you to East End.
Okay. Anybody else on the council want to comment, ask a question? I'll say that Rich Hiles and his group, East End Volleyball, they are East End Volleyball, but he lives in town now. He thinks he made Long Beach his headquarters for a while, and I appreciate that. And he puts up all the nets for the Michelle O'Neill tournament, him and his group, and that's quite an effort, how many nets they put up. So he puts his, not just his money where his mouth is, but also his time and effort. So I'm grateful to it. Any comments from the public? Yes, Mindy, I think you'd be happy about this development. Yeah, right, yeah. Dancing on the ice, but it's the ocean, right?
I am so excited to hear this. So my question is, does this mean all 22, we have 22 beaches, correct?
Oh, no, I think he just...
No, they're just doing one.
Oh, he's only doing one?
One at a time, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Make that just
Sorry.
a tap dance.
Okay. I'll just go. All right. I'll just take this. Okay. I'm really happy that Rich said yes. That's amazing. Do we know what beach it is?
I believe it's going to be Laurelton.
Laurelton. Of course it's going to be on Laurelton. Okay. Thank you.
Right. But we do need more, you're right. So it's a good start.
It's a good start.
We'll have a Moby Mat war, umbrella war and Moby Mat war. Like, yeah. Any other comments from the public or questions? All right. Thank you. We'll close that. We got there.
All right, on to the voting.
We can block vote it.
Oh, yeah. I'd like to make a motion to block vote.
Second.
That's a motion to move and introduce those items, correct?
Yes, sorry.
Items 1 through 7?
Would that be 2 through 7 because one's the publication?
We can do 2 through 7, yes. All right. Councilmember Johnson.
Yes.
Councilmember Ennis.
Yes.
Councilmember Reinhardt.
Yes.
President Finn.
Yes.
Okay. Item number 1 is a resolution authorizing publication of a notice of public hearing for the filing of an application with the County of Nassau for the purpose of undertaking a community development program under Title I of the Housing and Community Development Act of 1974 as amended and Title II of the National Affordable Housing Act of 1990 as amended for the inclusion in the city's community development program for 2026-2027, the 52nd year. Who will introduce and move the adoption of this item?
I will.
I second.
Councilmember Johnson?
Yes.
Councilmember Ennis?
Yes.
Councilmember Reinhardt?
Yes.
President Finn?
Yes.
All right, who will make a motion to close the meeting?
Yeah, just before we close, I just wanted to, President Finn and with Mr. Kalinitsky, we're coming up to the end of the moratorium on BEST that we voted on last year. And I would just like to put something, I would like to get something on the agenda for an upcoming meeting for a public hearing, and then to finalize possibly zoning BEST out of Long Beach. Is that it?
So just to be clear, you want me to prepare a resolution changing the zoning code to prohibit BESS as a use throughout the city?
I do.
Okay, thank you.
I agree with that.
All right, we'll get on it.
Yeah. I think it's time has come. All right.
Motion to close?
Yes, I'll make the motion to close.
Second.
Councilmember Johnson?
Yes.
Councilmember Ennis?
Yes.
Councilmember Reinhardt?
Yes.
President Finn?
Yes.
I just got $4,000. Well, that's how much they moved it. Bob Romini wants to sponsor.
Ron Paganini.
Evening, everybody. Who loves you? I love you.
Good evening, Ron.
All right. Ron Paganini, Long Beach. There was an article in the Herald that came 3 days after I was here last meeting. So it was posted February 6th. Big thing on the aquifers. Dr. Sarah Malin did it. I'm just bringing out what she said about Long Beach. So she said this. So Dr. Malin singled out Long Beach as an area that would likely lose its entire local water supply because of saltwater intrusion to the Lloyd Aquifer, the only aquifer the city draws from. They will have already been forced to look for other sources of water, whether they make arrangements from New York City or they make arrangements and buy water from some of their neighboring water suppliers, Malin explained. I'm sure there will be a lot of pressure to desalinate water, but that will be very expensive. There's more of it. It's a great article. Read the whole thing, but that, I had to bring it up. Why wouldn't I? So now I'm going to go to questions, and I just wrote this stuff that bothered me, and this is, questions for thought. So what is the administration, you guys, going to do? Like, what's the plan, okay? So really, in reality, we haven't heard from you guys since the well was intruded by salt water. That's a long time ago. Nothing was mentioned until I came up the other day. So let's say this, drill a new well, right? Let's drill a new well. Will the DEC issue a permit to drill a new well? I don't know. Did you get one? So what's the science here? So if we drill a new well, say, today, and a year later, or a little more, right, down the line, we lose another well to saltwater intrusion, where are the experts in this thing? Who is guiding us on that? Okay? So I'm trying to say we need professionals here. This is a big thing. So let's go on here. So for over 30 years, our elected, bipartisan city council people, they're over 30 years, have not enforced any of our water conservation ordinances and ignored the DEC recommendations of overpumping, okay? So the recommendation was, in the summer months, 15% less pumping of the water during the summer months. What happened? Nothing. They didn't do nothing. Knowing this, they added 3 water parks to waste more water. But they know the aquifer is very fragile. We only get 3% of water back every year, where the Magathy gets like 45% back. Can I just finish this?
Yeah.
So what I'm saying is this. You guys inherited, but this could be the biggest bipartisan political blunder in the history of Long Beach by far if we lose our source of water. And just one more other thing. You guys got to fix this the right way. The only way to fix this, what I believe, this problem, is for the administration, you guys, to bring in the experts with input from the residents at a special meeting. In time, have a bipartisan water conservation committee formed like other responsible water authorities on Long Island.
Okay.
Really think about this, okay? This woman is the expert, but if you could prove her wrong to me,
I know.
do it. Do it.
Okay.
Okay? Thank you.
Thanks. All right. Ronnie and I spoke about this privately. I spoke about it with Dan. We're on it. Eileen Hessian.
Thank you, Eileen Hessian. In the beginning of the meeting, you talked about good and welfare, and you used the terms interchangeably. I just want to remind people that the agenda items and resolutions, that's what you're supposed to talk about when you come up here. And that's what you were saying, except
No.
you... you accidentally said good and welfare.
No,
At good and welfare, you can speak about anything.
that's right.
Yeah, okay.
I didn't accidentally say anything. At good and welfare, you could say whatever you want,
Yes.
but I didn't say that. What I'm talking about is the agenda items, but
Yes.
really the public hearings. The public has a right to speak at the public hearings, that's what they're called. But they don't have a right to speak at the resolution, the agenda resolutions. Of course, that's what we do here. We're not taking that away, but that's the point.
Right.
Okay.
I guess I misunderstood.
Okay.
I thought you interchanged good and welfare with...
No, no, I did
Okay.
not.
The other thing is, one of the major things is the 3-minute rule. I think we should stick to that. However, this was a very important topic. But sometimes people are up here going on, and they go over the 3 minutes, and nobody stops them. So when the bell rings, we should consider how important it is, I guess.
No, the bell rang. He asked, could I keep going?
Yes, I
And
know.
said,
And
yeah.
it was an important
and
topic.
I never tell
So I
anybody
agree.
no, but some people should know when to stop. You are right.
Correct.
I agree with you.
Okay, my next thing. Didn't we have parking consultants doing something? Did they ever do anything?
We're in the process of,
Okay. Still working on it?
yes, but
Okay.
we're working hard on it.
Okay, and then my idea for Mr. Wasserman is when he drives his flag-laden cars on Long Beach Road, somebody should pull him over because he can't see out his windows. And when I'm behind him, I'm afraid that one of those things is going to act like a javelin and kill me. But it seems to me that the police should be able to pull him over. And that would be a nice way for him to use his money. And then finally, do we have money from the beach yet? The total?
We can't compute that until after we sell the beach passes, because it's a fiscal year thing.
Oh, I thought, okay, thank you.
Jacob Spielberg.
Jacob Spielberg, 533 East Market. I was here a couple of council meetings ago and I spoke about paper recycling. I'm here for a redo. So the facts are that in 2023, on a registered transfer facility annual report that was signed by the city manager, we sent 18,500 tons of household garbage to the dump. And if we apply today's rate that we're paying, which is $94.44 per ton, that comes to $1.75 million that the city spent throwing trash away. These are the fees that we pay. There's a local solid waste management plan. It's a 10-year plan that was put in place by the city and required by New York State in 2018. It goes all the way through 2028. And the plan mandates that there's a stringent enforcement policy, which includes using stickers and refusing to collect garbage containing visible recyclables. The city is not really doing any of those things. I don't think we're putting stickers on anything. I think we're collecting cardboard on regular garbage days, and there's really no discrimination.
Based on the cardboard I see flying around my section of town.
Yeah. So moving on from that, though, there is a grant, and I'm just curious. It's through the NYC Department of Environmental Conservation. It's called the Municipal Waste Reduction and Recycling Grant. Okay, and it will cover 50% of the recycling coordinator's salary if he spends 50% of his time promoting our recycling program. And they will reimburse us for 50% of our social media marketing, for any materials we send in the mail. They'll reimburse us for 50% of the stickers that we print to put on these boxes. So the reality right now is that cardboard and paper are being taken regularly with the trash. No trash is being refused, even though there's visible cardboard. And there's no stickers being used. And we're paying $94.44 per ton for a material we are legally and contractually obligated to recycle, which we can currently do so for free. Now, I'm not claiming we can get 100% of that out of the trash, but so again, my question is, have we been applying for this grant, which is you have to apply for it annually every year?
I'll look into the grant and I'll work with Patty on it, but did you say it was a New York City grant?
No, it's a NYS DEC.
New York State, okay, I thought you said NYC originally, so.
I just thought the head of Public Works might be familiar with it.
Yeah, I'm not sure if Steve would know. Ken, I don't think is here, but I'll check with both Patty because we have a grant team that works on these things.
So this would be Devon's salary, 50% of it covered.
Yeah, we do have sanitation inspectors that are responsible for some of this, but I will check into and seeing where they're at.
because
We
if
do
you-
have
if you-
inspectors that
yeah,
do some.
You don't have to appoint someone new. You can use someone whose responsibilities already fall within. Okay. And then in general, grant or not, when will the city begin using stickers and, refusing collection?
Go ahead.
It was a question, when will you start using
you could
stickers and refusing?
finish with your comments. We'll answer all of them at the end. I'm not going to go
That's it,
question
I'm
for
done.
question. Oh, you're done? When we'll start using the stickers, I have to see if we have the stickers available, if we're using them. I'm not saying that we're not doing it. I want to talk to the sanitation inspector and see what his process is and how he does it.
Okay.
So I don't want to say we're not doing it, we're doing it until I interview him. I didn't know this was coming up. I wasn't prepared to speak to it, so I don't really want to talk to it as if
Okay.
I had a long conversation today
I
about it.
understand. I would recommend reviewing the local solid waste management plan, okay, because it's all laid out in there, how you're going to do this.
Yeah, we have a solid waste management plan. I'll review that and do whatever. But again, I'm not prepared to speak to any of this because I didn't know you were
That's
coming
fine.
with it.
I'm just pointing it out. Okay.
Thank you. From my own perspective, I think that we really need to figure out how to revamp our recyclable collections because it's pretty it's tough to manage. I mean, the way the cardboard flies around on the windy days and the bottles are flying around on the other days. And I mean, I'm not throwing the blame on anybody, but there has to be a better way. And certainly not, this is the way it's been around for a while. Dale Greenstein.
I'd like to know what the stickers would be saying on them in regard to what Jacob said.
Don't tread on me.
I already said I'm not prepared to speak to this. I didn't know this was coming up. I don't know
Well,
what.
maybe he could answer that.
You could ask him after. I
okay.
don't think this is the appropriate time to ask him.
Okay. First of all, I'd like to thank you for the snow removal from between Laurelton and Lafayette Boulevard in that mall. The day after I spoke, a sign went up telling people not to go into that mall to try to park their car because it was, well, I don't know if they said that, but it was definitely an accident waiting to happen. And then the following day, they came down and they took the snow and they brought it to various places
That's
by
why
the
signs were
beach.
there, so that they would have, so that the
Yeah, they have
plows
that
could
3
come
days.
through.
It was 3 days.
3 days, yeah.
So it was up before you mentioned it, but it's. Yeah,
It wasn't there the day that I
Okay.
mentioned it.
Okay.
Because I drove by there on my way home. Well done. Today I was reading on Facebook, somebody was complaining about how dirty the snow was. Well, I don't know where they
That's
live.
the first true thing I've ever seen on Facebook.
Well, you've written on Facebook.
You read me?
I read a
I'm
lot
flattered.
of people.
How's my grammar?
Sometimes it's good.
Oh, no, always. What? AI can't even correct me.
Okay. Somebody was complaining about the dirty snow. I'd rather have the dirty snow near the boardwalk than in the center of town and to have that cave that was ready for a kid to get killed. So, good. Thank you. So with that in mind, what's the plan for Sunday night? We expect snow on Sunday. Is there a plan for Sunday night?
We meet and plan for every snow event that we have, that especially anything that's over 1 to 3 inches. So we will meet again. We do every time. We did before the last storm. We meet and we always have a plan on how it works. I don't know if you want to go into details of every single thing we do, how we pre-salt, how we go out, and Highways does salting operations until there's 1 to 3 inches of snow. Then we call out beach maintenance, sanitation, etc. They start plowing after there's 3 inches of snow. There's a plan. And
So
we have
you knew
police-
that they were going to leave the snow in that area,
we
in the mall? That was
We have
a
to
plan?
we have to get the roads cleared off. That's our primary responsibility. Keep going.
Okay.
It was between Laurelton
I
and
know
Lafayette
exactly where it was.
Boulevard,
And it was more than
directly across the street from CVS.
I know exactly where it was.
Okay, that's what I'm talking about. I really don't want to see that again. I really don't.
Nobody
It's too
does.
dangerous. Well, I'm not talking about what it looks like. I'm talking about danger and kids.
So am I.
Okay, so you're going to be meeting and have a
Yes.
plan ready for Sunday.
We do every storm.
Okay, that sounds good. Thank you.
Thank you. James Hodge. James, in a very serious way, I left this to you, the moment of silence.
I leave a moment of silence in honor of the late Reverend Jesse Jackson. Thank you to the council, to the council members. The hesitation is over as we must look to the life of the late Reverend Jesse Jackson, a man who understood that justice cannot wait. From the front lines of the civil rights movement to the national stage, he proved that progress only happens when we demand a seat at the table. For the underserved, I always say that if you don't have a seat at the table, you're on the menu. He lived by the mantra that of the 5 Ps. Proper preparation prevents poor performance. And right now, our community requires that level of relentless preparation and immediate action. On so many things, this is part of democracy as so many people come. This, as I always say, every day is good enough for everyone's history. You spoke about, not coming up here with a show, but in good and welfare, people can speak about anything. You spoke about there was things that was said that was inaccurate, also about the disparities in pay. Your corporation counsel know me very well. And I look you in the eye to say that I stand here and been fighting for sanitation workers and workers in the city of Long Beach. Some of your sanitation and some of your departments are being paid differently. And those that are in highway and sanitation, the hourlies are being paid lower than any other workers in the city of Long Beach. Majority people that are in those departments, highway and sanitation, are majority black, Latino. Your attorney is right there, it's on record, sue me. If I'm wrong, if I'm lying. You stood up and you gave the report. I didn't say that it was just on this administration, but this administration has a right to be able to correct the wrongs like you're doing in some areas. And so I say to this city, I will continue standing up and fighting just like so many people come up here and fight for the rights of whatever it is. I'm a person that goes and been for years at this meeting, since 14, and I'm 49 now. Started when sanitation workers was only getting about $7 an hour and every other department was getting more. We're paying under the state minimum wage because you're allowed to, but that don't make it right. So I finish by saying this, that sanitation workers and highway workers, and when you look through every department, you come back and tell me, and your attorney can meet with my attorney. But maybe I need to go further and talk to the state attorney general. I want to work with my city, and that's why I come to these meetings. But if you want me to go further, The laborers are getting paid basically as secretaries. If you want me to go further and push for a class action lawsuit, I'll talk to your attorney. I know I have the facts. Please try to give them correct pay and pay them as laborers making more money. Please, I love to work with my city and not have to call other people in because it's simple to do. But let's correct it. Let's pay them fairly. They're in the rain, sleet, and snow. Please pay our workers fairly.
Thank you. Roy Lester.
I just have a few questions.
What did you
First
say?
of all, I said I just have a few questions.
Okay.
First of all, thank you for the lock on the bathroom. I spoke about it 2 weeks ago, and you put one on. Okay? All right. First of all, no offense, Brendan, but when somebody asks, when we're talking about sponsorship, if somebody talks about different types of sponsorships and stuff like that, that shouldn't be excluded. We're talking about sponsorship.
Why would I take offense to that?
Yeah, you had said that we're not talking about this particular sponsorship. They asked questions about sponsorship. Anyway, we had the audit. The public did not see any of the audit except what you showed. Okay? The public doesn't even have a chance to ask questions about it. What is our total debt? You don't have to answer right this minute. You can answer when I'm done with my questions. Ron spoke about the water. Now, the Lloyd Aquifer supplies 10% of the water to Long Island. How much of that 10% do we use? It seems to me we're one of the biggest users if it's only 10% of the water, so like that. We talked about question about the cardboard that's being picked up. How much are we paying for the cardboard? I thought it was almost the same as we're paying for the garbage, but I'm not sure. I know it used to be close. And on that note, how much of our plastic is actually being burned rather than
That's a good question.
buried and stuff like that? Now, John McNally said that we've been sponsoring umbrellas for years. I don't ever remember this appearing, the sponsorship on umbrellas appearing, and I've been to every meeting for many years. If he could tell me when that was. And then I think, Mike, you said that we increased the number of Moby mats last year. You said, which was great. When did we do that?
We had, I don't know the exact date, but you were at the meeting when we
Yes,
talked
I
about
was,
it?
and we did not vote for them.
I think we did.
No, we didn't.
No,
No, because
we'll have to look it up.
we were going to look for other ones. So that's why I'm asking you, Mike, when did we increase the Moby mats?
We'll get the answer.
Joe, do you know? Okay.
Some of them were to extend the ones that were already existing, so that was a big part of it.
Okay.
Wait, some were what, Joe?
To extend the ones that already.
No, but when it came to vote on the Moby mats, there were two different bidders, and we were going to look into it, so we did not vote for those mats. That's why I'm asking right now, when did we buy them when we never voted on them?
We didn't.
That's what I don't understand.
We'll have to look it up.
Okay, so if you can answer those questions, I'm here now.
Okay.
No, I asked them already. The amount of paper, the cost of paper, nobody knows that right now?
The cost of paper is zero.
We don't pay anything now?
We don't pay anything. We negotiated a deal with Town of Hempstead last year.
It's a good deal.
And we had them reduce it to zero for paper since it is recyclable. However, the plastic, glass, metal went up significantly because people are not buying those as recyclables anymore.
What are we paying for that now?
I think it's $139 a ton. It actually costs more to do recycling than it does to do regular garbage.
But we don't know how much is burned. So, I mean, that's an awful lot of money. Financially, people are better off throwing it in the garbage.
Without a doubt, but you have to recycle.
Well, you can ask the state for exemptions. And if it's being burned, I think that would be a good exemption. But if the paper is costing us nothing, we're saving $94 a ton. We should be advocating the paper, and you know that, and people are saying paper is being thrown out constantly, and we're doing nothing to try to get more people to recycle the paper. It used to cost us a lot more money. So, I mean, I applaud you for getting it for nothing, but we're not doing what we should be doing to try to get people to throw away that. You know, once every 2 weeks doesn't make it for a lot of people. Thanks.
All right, thank you. Mindy Dovberg.
Mindy Dovberg, Long Beach. So I just want to clarify, which is not one of the things I wanted to talk about, with the Moby mats. You guys got new ones last year, or did you just reuse the ones that you had?
Both.
But you used it's the Moby mat group, right? It's
We did try out the other vendor last year. We found that it was not as cheap as we thought it would be, and we found that the beach maintenance did not like using them. It was much more maintenance than the Moby mats. So we are looking to go back to the Moby mats.
right. I think the Moby mats are a better idea.
Yes.
But you had most of them, though. I mean, those were the ones that you've always used.
Yeah, we have a lot of them. They do wear out fairly easily. The clips and everything that connect them break, and we try to buy new ones, on a rotational basis.
Okay.
But we are trying to get more and put more out every year.
Thank you. So I just wanted to ask, on Broadway and New York Avenue, there's a stoplight that is solar paneled. I think it would be really awesome if other stop signs in Long Beach had that. I don't know, it would be great, fairy tale that every single one would have it,
right.
but that's not going to happen. So I don't know how, there's a grant that can have, I don't know, but I think it's really wonderful that you come down and you see it, you know it, it's there. And someone that's visiting, same thing.
The New York Avenue one like that too, Rich? Yeah. Yeah.
By the school.
There's two there on that one block?
No, there's one on New York Avenue, and is that the one you're talking about?
Yeah, New York and Broadway.
Right.
And then there is another one. I just can't think of
Oh,
where it is.
that's one. I thought you were talking about. I thought you mentioned one in the East End. I'm sorry.
There's one in the East End?
No.
Oh. Yeah. I think there's two. I just don't know where the other one is.
Neptune. Right.
Neptune.
Okay.
Okay. So as I was driving here, there was a handicap parking spot that's right in the center of town. It's east of Starbucks. There's two spots there. One is plowed, the other one has snow. If we're expecting more snow, the handicap spots need to be cleaned.
Yeah.
No exception.
Right.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Mindy. So we're all out of contestants. Thank you, everybody, for coming out. It's been a great meeting. Democracy at work. Please arrive home safely. And we'll see you in March. Is it March 2nd?